held it on for a bit longer that time. Okay. Hello everyone and welcome back to another podcast. Hope you're all doing well. It's been about another week or so since we last recorded one, and our last one was on food.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it does actually.
It's your birthday.
It was. It was not long after your birthday. It was.
I was about to say it wasn't on the day of my birthday.
No, it was like.
We did something
around
much
there.
worse for your birthday.
Yeah.
But no, the last one was on food. That was a fun one.
Yeah.
And we've been on another trip recently. And
the adventure.
Yeah, we went to a little town, a little city called Xi'an to go see the Terracotta Warriors. But before we get into it, we want to say a couple of things. First thing, we apologise for the bad audio on the previous podcast. We've been trying to use two microphones, because there's four of us, and we've been trying to sync them up, and it's been an absolute nightmare for me in the editing suite. It's been super difficult. For some reason, Premiere Pro is just not wanting to work with me, so we're back to using one microphone. So hopefully you can still all hear us very clearly. I'm sure you can. And the second thing is, massive shout out to our good friend of the podcast, Ian Lowe, aka Amy's dad.
Ian Lowe.
Ian Lowe.
Thanks, Dad. We've just got the website sorted because a few people.
Well, don't just say the website sorted. What is this website?
So the website is obviously for Zhengzhou Unchained, but it means that the podcast is now available to you in a different medium where you can download the file if you want to, and keep it open in your browser whilst you're doing other things, because obviously that's one thing that people have troubles with when it comes to YouTube. Because if you close the app on YouTube, the audio stops, but now you won't have that issue.
Unless you pay for premium, but I doubt anybody does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Who does pay for YouTube Premium these days?
A lot of rubbish.
Yeah.
My dad, who is the IT wizard, sorted it out for us. All your drawings and things on there, though, by yours truly.
Yeah, we'll put a link into the bio,
yes.
so you can have a.
It's called the description, Tom. It's called the
Down
description.
below.
Yes,
Really?
the description.
Oh right, I'm not up to date with the kids.
No.
Leave the social media to us.
Yeah. Go on.
Yes, it's all over Twitter. The links are up there. So yeah, go check it out.
Can you download it on? So could I download it on my phone?
I think if you've got Dropbox on your phone, you can.
Okay.
It was on iTunes.
We're working on that. iTunes may work, but because we have VPNs and things, it's a little bit tricky.
Okay.
Because there's like extra security and things, but they obviously, because they can't track your location, they're like, who is this? And
we'll make it past the Great Firewall somehow.
Yes, we'll get it through. We'll get it through.
With the help of Ian Lowe.
Yeah.
Ian Lowe will help us out. Yeah, we'll get it sorted. Thank you, Ian.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, thank you.
So go download it, and it'll be great if you did that. So, on to the topic of today's podcast, the Terracotta Warriors. If you have no idea what the Terracotta Warriors are, which, to be honest, up until the weekend, up until actually going, I didn't really know what they were. I had very little idea. I knew they were sculptures and stuff, but I didn't realise just how massive of a thing this is. It's trying to get my words out.
It is crazy. Like, to be honest, I'm like you. I didn't. I knew about them, and I knew that they were of a huge scale, and there's loads and loads that were found.
8,000.
Yeah. Well, to be confirmed, because there's still some more. Anyway, but I didn't know, and I knew that they'd been uncovered in the 70s, but and that they'd like been there for a really, really long time, but I didn't actually know why they were there and why they were so special.
Well,
interesting.
basically the 2,200 years old, so before Jesus, and the first emperor of China.
Of which dynasty?
Qing dynasty? Yeah, called
Q-I-N, isn't it?
Yeah, Q-I-N-G.
Yeah, Qin Shi Huang.
It's just Q-I-N.
Is it?
Yeah, Qin Shi Huang. He was the first emperor. And
Oh,
he
okay.
had that dynasty. But there is a Qing
I
one
thought it was
later on.
Qing. Oh.
I think that was the time of the Forbidden City in that one. We've already covered some of that. That was the Ming and Qing dynasty.
Mm.
But yeah, so this guy united all of the kingdoms of China around that time, much like Game of Thrones kind of thing. And he, about the age of about 30 or something, decided that in his death he wanted to be protected in the afterlife by all these thousands of warriors made from terracotta.
Apparently it was all feng shui. And because as we walked in, we'll go into details of who we were with
Mm-hmm.
and how that happened afterwards. But there was he showed us like the layout of this. The mountains were on the south.
No,
I think
they
the
were
mausoleum.
to the of the mausoleum.
Yeah.
No, they were
They
to
were to
the
the north.
They were to the north.
Yeah. And then obviously the soldiers were on one side, so he was like protected.
Or they
And
could have just
then-
been hit from the other side. I don't see the point in why they put
There
them all
must have
on
been a
one
reason
side.
why he
like,
put them all on one side.
Anyway,
But anyway, I
And
was just gonna say it was a feng shui thing.
yeah, well, I remember a few of the things. So it took 700,000 Chinese workers to do. So the emperor ordered, all these workers to build him this ridiculously huge army of like life-sized terracotta warriors. And because it was such a big secret, once they'd finished, and I think 34 years?
38 years.
38 years that it took them. So 700,000, and each one of them had to be buried alive once the work had finished. In order, they were so concerned with
What,
the
every
secrecy
one
of
of
this.
them?
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
even
know it was every
I
one of
heard
them.
that the Chinese have said 700,000, such a grand thingy, but then these guys did not. Obviously, it's not accurate, but they did calculations. He was like, "There's 8,000 soldiers. Does it really take almost 10,000 men to make one soldier?" I think it's a bit less, but
Right,
Arcade
okay.
John obviously
I
magnified
mean,
that.
there's still soldiers to be uncovered and stuff, isn't there? But yeah, that does.
Still a lot of
even
people.
at the time, I was like, that is a crazy amount of people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be one man to one soldier, is it? I don't know.
No, but 700,000 people is like a lot.
Maybe
of
that was. I
people.
think that was also to build his mausoleum as well.
Yeah.
So
The whole thing was like 45,000 kilometers squared or something.
Yeah, the whole
Ridiculous. It's
site.
huge.
So he was buried in a big, massive hill, which would have taken a long time to do,
I'm
and
sure that's like-
been yet to be uncovered.
1.5 kilometers from his actual mausoleum.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they want to preserve that because as soon as they open that up, I think whatever's inside
Evil
will
spirits
oxidise.
shall come
Evil
out.
spirits.
So one of the main things that is special about the Terracotta Warriors is obviously the terracotta part.
Mhm.
They're done in like this. I can't remember what he said it was. It was like clay, and then local dirt and all sorts, and then baked in a big oven,
Yeah.
and then painted over the top. And in 1974, I think it was, when the farmer first discovered them, they were digging for a well because there was a drought, and they discovered the head of one of the soldiers, and they didn't realize at the time, but because the paint had oxidized, they thought that it had changed color and that it was this evil thing. But obviously, since all of the soldiers in the 3 pits have all been oxidized, like they were all a greyish color. But there were some photos, weren't they, of what they looked like when they just found them, and they had like skin color.
Yeah.
It was like lot of red and
The
purple. and-
kneeling archer had a bit of red on his back as well, left
yeah.
over as well. Somehow that didn't oxidise, but
Mm.
I think we should talk
Found that
about
a bit weird.
the farmers, because that's a really sad and very weird story. So I think, was it 3 original 3
3 or 4,
farmers
yeah.
or 4? They were just in this rural Chinese village, literally just the most unassuming people, and they dug and found these terracotta warriors, and then the main farmer who found them ended up actually committing suicide because he thought that what had happened was actually a bad thing in the end. He thought that he had brought a curse upon himself and the people of the village, and that what was supposed to be buried should have stayed buried, and he ended up he didn't like all the attention and infamy and stuff that happened. So unfortunately, there is now someone going round pretending to be the original farmer, even though he killed himself. And when we were on this tour of the Terracotta Warriors, our tour guide kept saying, oh yeah, well, you know, at the end of this tour, we might be able to meet the farmer. You know, he kept saying it a few times, and we all just kind of we're just glancing at each other like, I don't want to meet him because we know he's not the real guy, and I don't want to have to pretend to be like.
Yeah, he kept saying,
happy to see him.
He's met Bill Clinton, but me and Tom read an article earlier that morning that said, oh, the guy worked at a local factory that was visited by Bill Clinton in 1999, and ever since then he's been using the photo of him shaking hands with Bill Clinton as like evidence that he was the first farmer. But the government have basically, they know that this guy's a fraud, but they don't care because they need someone to
bring in the money.
Sell
one thing
the
that really annoyed
autographs.
me is that our tour guide said, oh yeah, if you're lucky, if he's not busy, we can go meet him. And we go into this strange restaurant with hardly anybody in it, and there's just this guy sat playing chess on his phone.
Yeah.
And this was him.
But no, that was him.
That was him, but
in big earmarks, that was him.
We expected it to be maybe a bit more crowded than that, but there was nothing. It was nothing.
Well, so we went past the poster of this guy sat on a chair. Do you remember? That was the fraud. That was
the Yang.
Yeah, that was him. That was the frauded guy. But there was, out of the 4 farmers, there's one that's still alive, and I think that's the guy that we saw in the restaurant.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember reading his name in the article, but the other 2 died.
So he was real.
Yeah.
A real person.
Yeah, but
still,
he wasn't bothered, was
he
and his signature was just like a bit of red powder on a stamp.
Since they found the Terracotta Army, the government have basically taken over the whole site, and the people who originally found it haven't really benefited from it at all. They receive a very low wage, and some of the 2 of the other farmers who found the terracotta apparently couldn't even afford healthcare, and have died due to things that could have been quite easily avoided.
And they died completely penniless.
So, you know,
I think they got
and they
paid.
also.
It was
Sorry,
like
go on.
it was like £1,000 a month, which is £100, if that.
Yeah.
Which you might think, oh, that might be a lot for China. It's not. Like the minimum wage is about £3,000 a month.
Yeah, it's quite sad. I don't know how.
Really
I don't know how, because they were scamming us in the souvenir shop as
That
well.
John guy, he kept saying that, the farmers, they're very happy. The government built them a new town just outside, and I was like,
Well,
I know that's not true.
There was a village there, wasn't there? And because of the growing site and the tourism stuff, they've moved the village. And they were happy to be moved and all this stuff, and it's
Kept
like,
saying it.
no, they weren't. I'm sure, it's just quite easy to see through a lot of the things that we get told and fed here. So
You've just taken away their livelihood and moved them to a place where they don't want to be, and taken away all their jobs and just given them a basic, stupid wage, and that's it. I don't know how they could be happy with that. It's ridiculous.
And we found that out the morning as we were going.
Yeah. It's a shame, because I think it's one of the things you have to see when you're in China, and it's sad that that is the reality of it. But
but it's sad that something like that happened to 4 unsuspecting farmers over the course. Well, they found them on one day, and then over the course of a few years, unfortunate things happened to them.
Yeah.
But again, like, we've been to Luoyang, and we've been to Kaifeng, and we've been to Beijing, and like those 3 parts, they were certainly the Forbidden City in Beijing. All of those 3 places that we've been to were very historical. This was this the most ancient history we've seen, or was the Buddha's?
Luoyang was older, wasn't it?
Was Luoyang older than
was
Saqqara?
8,000 years old.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's still pretty impressive.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not to knock Xi'an at all. The warriors, when we first went into the pit, and pit 1 is the main pit, and that has 6,000 of these terracotta warriors. Some of them are still unearthed to preserve them, but the ones that have been revealed. It was just one of the most incredible sights I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I was just gobsmacked, and it was just an unbelievable thing to just look at. This it was exactly what the emperor wanted, this formation of people protecting him, and it was really stunning. It was just fantastic. It was so cool.
Even the first pit was just more. Well, I was personally more shocked at just the sheer amount of them, and then the second two were just the biggest pits. Even the third one, which wasn't very large, it was still chunky and deep, like the pits that they found them in, and most of them were still. They hadn't been pieced back together. They were still half hanging out of the trenches, and
it was interesting to see that. We saw a few times because they've also made horses, carriages,
chariots,
acrobats, dancers, and we saw a horse just like half in the big rock, and it's just like
I didn't see
incredible.
They have to
I think
like
that was in
chip
the
them
second
out.
pit.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but yeah, it was like this big 10-foot wall and then like half of a horse's body just coming out.
Yeah.
So you can just see that under that rock there's going to be another 200 of them.
Yeah, and they even had like a little terracotta hospital, didn't they?
Yeah,
They were building them back together
That's
with all their
crazy.
pieces, and just I don't think they'll ever be done with that place. I think.
No, they'll find stuff all the time.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon, like you said, there's probably more than 8,000, probably.
Well, he said
Oh,
that they
they
have
did
special scanners now, don't
Yeah.
they?
Yes, yeah, but the emperor at the time also had all of his 20 wives buried with him alive. As we say, all the builders.
Yeah.
I think he had some of his sons buried with him as well. So there's going to be so many things, so many.
Yeah, and so you briefly mentioned the acrobats, but so in his mausoleum there are lots of mini like warriors to protect him, and various different entertaining people such as acrobats. And was there anything else other than acrobats?
Dancers. I think it was like
Dancers,
probably a magician or some crap like that. I don't know. Whatever he was
and
at that
quite
time.
a few animals as well. I think.
Yes,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
there was
those turtles.
And a crane.
Crane and stuff like
Yes.
that. All the
Yeah,
animals
things like
from
that.
Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I mean Kung Fu.
All right. But yes,
Move forward to the mic.
I'm not speaking. I'm done.
Lean in,
You
mate.
lot speak. You say whatever you want.
He's
Are
done.
you
He's just
speaking
gonna.
now?
No.
We apologise, viewers, for these minor technical difficulties. So in the second pit, they displayed the 5 main terracotta warriors, which were, and I've forgotten
Can you
them all.
remember?
There was the kneeling archer.
What did he represent?
Kneeling archer was Luck.
Mm-hmm.
The standing archer, he was.
The general, you mean?
No, there was
Got
a
a clue. He was brief.
He was brave. The standing archer was
What
brave.
was before him?
I can't remember. There's three in between though. I know that was the first one and the last one.
The general.
The
was
general power. The general was power.
The horse
The
rider.
horse was. If you want to be 4-legged, you can. And something else.
The wisdom.
Was it wisdom? Was that
Yeah.
wisdom?
That was
Yeah.
the second in
this-
command, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
Yes.
something like
Ah,
that. He was
yeah,
much
yeah.
thinner, wasn't he? Whereas power apparently represents like big bellies and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
But
can't
this
remember
is-
what the horse one was.
No, but it means like
That's bad. isn't
Bing
it?
Ma Yung is the main 3, and that just means terracotta army. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's very interesting. It's
Yeah.
And then when we found out, it was like if you buy, when you go to the gift shop and you buy the power warrior and the luck warrior together, that is yin and yang. That's the yin and yang of the warriors as well,
Ah.
which is
Really?
Yeah.
That's why I got luck.
Luck and power.
Ed
And I got power.
I got luck and power. Yeah.
Which,
yeah.
Look,
Oh, I didn't
everyone
get-
got luck because
We got the archer.
everyone tends
The
to
kneeling,
go for the kneeling
archer is like the face of
Yes,
like,
he
on
is
all the
yeah.
tickets and things. And
He's the
he-
most well preserved one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the reason why. Is because he's the one that's wasn't put back together. If that makes sense. He was like an all-in-one. Yeah, and the details on him are incredible. Like he's
Yeah.
got a little bow on his shoe. The back of his foot's got holes in.
Yeah.
I'm guessing for grip.
All of the other ones have like something around them, like a harness or something, just to keep him upright. But he's just there
Oh, like a plaque.
himself.
Yeah.
And John also said that the body of the kneeling archer is the same shape as Shanxi, the province of
Oh,
Xi'an.
yeah.
So it kind of
his
it's a double.
profile is with
So
his
he
bum
means
and-
he represents obviously luck. He's the face of the terracotta army, and he's the face of the province as well.
Yeah.
So.
He's the shape of it.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah.
very interesting.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
What a coincidence.
We
It
got
was.
told a lot about jade as well, and how
Yes.
if you see green jade, that's actually not the purest form of jade. It's supposed to be, was it black or white? Which one
It
was
was black jade.
Black
Black
is-
jade, and then you hold it up to the light, and then
And it
it's
goes
this
green.
beautiful green colour.
Yeah.
So
It's great.
if you're gonna buy some jade, always hold it up to some light.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you hold it up to some light and you can see bits in it or you can see through it, then it's great. It's really good quality. And if you can't,
If
then
it's just
shoddy
cloudy
stuff.
and
Yeah.
and one colour, then that's what you don't want, and it's fake.
And if you go to a shop and they don't have glasses of water within all the cabinets to help the minerals be preserved or something, I don't know why they have it there, but apparently like they need water to be shiny and stuff. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was because just outside the site, there's like a big mountain, and in that mountain there's lots of hot springs, and jade forms really easily in there. So, and you know, jade is just the gemstone of China, isn't it? And that they're really into it. And there's also pink jade in there, which was cool.
Yeah.
Apparently that was given, like the emperor, he had many wives, but his favourite one, he gave this pink jade, and apparently every night she took off her pink bracelets, put them in some water, and then washed her face with that same water in the morning, and apparently her skin was perfect.
Popping.
But yeah,
And also jade was eventually used on horses as well, for the sweat that was produced from the horses during battle or what have you.
apparently, yeah, there's lots of, he said, living minerals that keep you very healthy, and he even had himself a jade, and apparently the emperor had his on the inside of his clothes, touching his waist, because he drank a lot and needed help with his liver.
Yeah, put it over his liver. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's a cool
And
little
actually,
fact.
the only other warrior that was wearing one was the guy in the chariot, and he got given one, didn't he, by the emperor, and but he only was allowed to wear it on the outside of his clothes.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I did
that's the
not hear
one.
that
That's
part.
the one that we didn't see, because the original is actually on tour. It's in New Zealand right now.
Gigs
So-
in New Zealand.
But yeah,
But they had a very, very convincing stand-in for it, which if you didn't know it was fake, you wouldn't realise, which sort of made me wonder about a few things. I thought if you can fake things as convincingly. But anyway, yeah, it was really cool.
it was very cool, very very cool. And then we got taken to a very strange sort of lunch spot, which was very Chinese, very cold, and it was like on the site, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was where that guy was who I mentioned earlier, the one of the farmers.
Yeah, as you walk in, but it was completely dead, and I think it was a Chinese tea room.
There were people upstairs eating.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I just think it's so our tour guide was called John. We'll mention about him again in a
Shortly,
bit, but
shortly.
he kept on taking us to these souvenir shops and to these restaurants, and you'd think that they were probably mates of his,
Yeah.
and he was just kind of getting us in there.
But it was still
it was all right,
it was
wasn't
good
it?
because when we went to the Jade, we all the Jade shop. We sat down and she talked us through it, and she rubbed some bits together and was like, "Oh, smell that? That's bad jade. This is good jade. This is what this smells like when you
Yeah, it was it was good. It was
so
good.
it was still
yeah.
interesting.
And the food was okay.
I should have got those
pretty good,
noodles.
you know.
The one that me and Beth had was great. Like the
Well, I wanted to
pancakes
try
and-
the noodles he was on about, the dish of
The biang biang
Xi'an.
noodles.
Yeah, the biang biang noodles. They were nothing special, nothing.
Never have
No.
fat noodles in China.
To be honest,
Just stick with your chow mein.
Why would you have fat noodles anyway?
I thought they were tasty. I thought the noodles were pretty good. They're just there's just so much of it. Like you ate one
That's
layer,
true.
you ate one layer. It's like, oh god, there's more of this. And then you look underneath, and it's like, Jesus Christ, it's
Yeah.
a whole bloody. Can feed the whole of the park here, can't I? Feed the whole Warriors. Feed the 8,000
Nice.
with these noodles. But I thought they were fine. I thought those
And
noodles
then
were
we
fine.
got
I was
some-
jealous of yours because yours, Tom, looked very, very good. That
Yeah.
meat sauce looked really good.
It was no.
Really
No,
not?
It was
We-
alright. It tasted like bolognese at first. It had a bit of mint on it. It was
You
strange.
were eating things all day that day, and you're like, it tastes like bolognese.
And then yesterday I
And
had
then you had
bolognese.
bolognese.
And it didn't taste like a
No,
bolognese.
it didn't. It was gross.
That looked like
That was
shit.
bad. That was bad.
That really looked like shit.
You know what? It was okay. It was like a kid's bolognese that you get from
It did the job, and it was what £3.50.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it was fine.
But we had some very nice tea And like we bought some, didn't we? There was a Ku Ping, whatever it's called, tea that cures diabetes and allegedly.
One sip
because it
and you're
cures
free.
No, you
diabetes.
have to drink it.
does
She said to me, "You got to drink it for 6 months." Obviously, I don't have diabetes, but
You can't
I know it's
cure
funny,
it.
but of course you
I
can't
believe
cure
in
it. I
teas
believe
like
a bit
that.
like a bit of this. You know, I do. There's a line where you're relying on natural. What?
Sorry,
Sorry,
what's
it's like quite
still
heavily
snowing.
snowing.
In
Yeah.
Winter
Setting.
Wonderland. It's a Winter
It's
Wonderland.
setting like
yeah.
hell here, the snow.
I
we know
genuinely didn't think it would be setting because it's so wet out there.
No, it's been snowing in England. We know that. We've been seeing all the Snapchats from people. And
I
Who
was a
put
bit.
those on
not been jealous.
Snapchat?
I was a bit. Yes, I was a
Me.
bit jealous, and then next thing we know, an hour later, we look outside and it's absolutely chucking it down
Yeah.
with
It's not
snow.
laying on the road though. It's just on the
on the trees.
trees,
Right,
but it looks nice.
Sorry, Beth, you were saying the
Tea.
The tea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
You
I
in-
believe
yeah.
in it to an extent. I think
Okay, we're still going.
Oh.
Right, sorry about
for the
that.
third
people.
time, right?
You believe in the teas.
But the way that people live here, relying on herbs and traditional medicine as opposed to Western or stronger medicine, I think you can link the two and have a good balance as opposed to like. So yeah, when I see things like that, when it's good for your liver, good for your heart, you whatever, I do buy into it to an extent. My dad's really into all that stuff. I think I'm going to give him the lychee tea, which was really nice.
That was really, really tasty.
Spoiler alert for Beth's dad.
Presents.
They live for a really long
he
time.
doesn't
actually.
listen.
But yeah, so we always say that we believe in the tested Western medicine over the traditional Chinese stuff, but the Chinese live for a long time and
yeah.
so they must be
Maybe-
doing something right.
Maybe they know something that the West doesn't.
Yeah, maybe that
Maybe
is
it's
the
that
case.
smog. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just feeding
The
into
smog
their
and the cigarettes is just what you need.
just
and
full
the,
of health.
and the baijiu.
Baijiu.
That's
Anyway.
Yeah,
strong
yeah.
alcohol.
We also went to the souvenir shop and bought some miniature replicas of the Terracotta Army, which was cool,
Used
which was
with
good.
the original clay, bit of the original
Apparently
clay.
so.
Apparently so.
Yeah,
I
allegedly.
bought one from inside the souvenir shop and I bought them
You
fake
bought the
one.
set?
Yeah, the set after for £2 and I tapped them both the materials and they sound basically the same.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Well, what the fake ones that
I'm not
you
gonna
got
do it for the
are
podcast.
really are much heavier, and when you tap them, they don't sound hollow. And traditionally,
They do sound hollow.
No, they
Yeah,
don't.
they do.
Right, go and
They
get
do.
them, and I'm gonna.
No, I'm not
tap
going to do it
them.
now,
Yeah,
but
we're not doing it
no,
now.
but take my word for it, guys.
Well,
Maybe
you know
there's
the
a bit of
ultimate
quality
test,
going.
right? The ultimate test
Put 'em
is
in
to put them in
water.
water.
I ain't going to do that though.
Do it with
John
one-
said if they're non-authentic and if they're made with soil instead of the original clay, then if you put them in water, they'll just disintegrate and go to nothing.
Well, I don't want to do that because I don't want to lose them, you know.
If you believe in them that much.
No. I
Put
just
your life on the line.
There you go,
believe.
guys.
I just don't believe John. Really, that's all. Because he was talking some rubbish throughout there.
He
Some
was
obviously he knew
Very
his stuff,
interesting, yeah.
but some of it was like,
Let's
Your
talk
win.
about John.
Your
Let's
win.
talk about
So he got us straight away
yeah.
yeah, nabbed
from
us
the
up.
gate. But I heard from other people that like it's really worth getting a tour guide because otherwise you're just walking around reading plaques and you don't really
Absorb it, do you? No.
Yeah, you don't really get funner facts. Is funner a word?
Wow.
You don't really get more interesting facts. You just get a fact.
Yeah. You can read it, and then also you just want some general facts along the way because the plaques are all about the stuff that's in front of you, but there's some other
Yeah.
bits to it as well, isn't there? That you might want to hear.
Like we were able to just ask John questions and he'd be able to give us an answer. Like
Yeah.
the whole how long did this take and how many people were used. Like
Yeah.
you probably could read that on a plaque, but
Yeah.
I don't know,
Actually,
reading
I read all
plaques.
the plaques and none of
Yeah, I
them
read the
said
plaques, yeah.
how long it would take.
I read Wikipedia as well. But
Yeah,
I think John may
Wikipedia.
give us the most interesting of
Yeah.
things.
So Dad, when you go look for John.
Go look
I've
for
told
John.
I told my dad to try
Short
and get
guy.
John.
Probably moaning about his wife.
Yeah.
Don't take any less than 50 yuan per person because otherwise.
Well, no, it'll be for the 2 hours of time, so it'll be 200 no matter what.
But it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah,
was
it'll be a tenner
definitely
each for
worth
them
it.
too.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It'll be absolutely worth it.
That's
So
what I'm saying. It was 50 euros per. Yeah, so sorry, 200 yuan for the
200
whole
yuan for the
experience,
whole experience. Yeah,
which is about 20 quid. And between four of us, it was definitely worth it.
Very worth it, yeah.
yeah. It was good. It was good. He gave us some tasty nuggets of
Yeah.
facts, didn't he?
yeah, he just took us around and was good times.
Only thing we noticed, well, you
Amy.
pointed it out and ruined it for all of us, is that he had a bit of a strange accent.
I just turned around. No, it was like, it wasn't even before we got into the main bit. We were queuing up to go to the gate, and I just turned around to Beth and I'm like, is he Nigerian?
His accent sounded closer to an African person speaking.
He was very
English
clearly
than a
Chinese.
Chinese person. We obviously are very familiar with the accent that Chinese people have when they speak English, and it just sounded a bit off.
Yeah.
Wasn't traditional, that's for sure.
I wonder if
Yeah.
he was taught as a child by
An African.
an
That's what
African
we were
person,
thinking,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a few
His-
African people in here.
He ended when we were in the first and second bit. He ended every paragraph or every
Go on.
You're gonna set me
everything.
up. Set me up.
I'm setting you up. With with this one line,
No two are the same.
which
I've
basically means.
I'm just. Oh god, I've embarrassed myself. Maybe.
Because he was talking about the Terracotta Warriors, and if you didn't know, no two are the same. Every single one of them is different, and he finished every word, every sentence with
No two are the same.
and that's just been like our little hashtag of the trip.
Little
Yeah,
catchphrase.
yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, that is overemphasized. He did not sound like
No,
that.
no,
He
no,
didn't
no,
sound
no,
like
no,
Ugandan
no.
knuckles.
No, he did not sound like Ugandan knuckle at all. But it was just, yeah, he was a
He
really.
did a bit.
Lovely guy, great English.
His English was absolutely superb.
Yeah, it was.
Superb English.
Yeah.
Probably the best from
Mm.
anyone we've
Yeah.
spoken to here.
to the point
Yeah.
where like I kept sort of talking about him or wanting to talk about him, and then realizing like, no, he's gonna understand
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
because we talk about Chinese people when they're right in front of us. We just say like, "Oh, this guy's proper weird." And obviously they didn't have a clue, but we can't say it about John.
Yeah.
We can't say.
Mm.
Yeah, we did when we did that in H&M, where we were just like, "This guy with a white jacket,
Yeah.
is fucking wanker."
What a weirdo! Look at him.
I'll bleep that
Is
out,
that what
shall I?
you two do together?
Yeah.
Laugh, innit? It's just funny. We could say the most weird things, and no one
It's
would
just
know
when
any
people.
different.
It's just when people get in my way. Like if they're walking slowly, I'm like,
Oh, I do that.
get out of my way.
Especially
I'm-
with kids. I'm
Well,
like,
a lot
watch
worse.
yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
I would have hit mine.
Oh, we did that when we went to the night market on the night when that poor kid was having that sweet, and I was like, go on then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
He's like,
after
"What?"
after the Terracotta Army, I think we've covered most of
Yeah,
it.
we've got-
We can always
yeah,
pop back
yeah.
if we need, but
It's our podcast.
yeah, we
Yeah.
do what we
Whatever
want. Do what we want.
No
but-
one can stop us.
So later on that evening, we heard of a Muslim quarter in Xi'an, and there's probably about, what did you say, there was 30,000, 20,000 Muslims
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
area, and they have a night market with food and all the fake Terracotta Army stuff and whatever you could imagine for a fake market.
Fake Gucci bags.
So it was very fun, and we had some good food and we had some bad food, and we saw some weird food as well.
Mm. The weirdest food that I saw. Well, it's not weird food for me. I personally love the stuff, but they cut open a squid into a ridiculous degree, and it was like in 8 parts with the tentacles just sticking out on top, and they'd like seasoned it with a load of like salt and chili and
Paprika.
pepper and paprika and stuff like that, and you could literally, it was on a stick, you just pick it up and try and eat it off the stick. It looked ridiculous.
It looked like an alien on a stick.
Yeah.
It was the most.
Yeah, it did.
kind
Yeah, it
of
looked like
a bit,
alien.
It looked like the
Yeah. And then they had octopus as well.
Yes, they did. Yes,
Like
they
chopped
did.
up tentacles, just like
Yeah.
as a kebab, and pig feet, and a sheep's
Sheep's
head that
head,
was
yeah.
cut open. And honestly, we thought, oh, it's gonna be great, have some food. I think we just had potatoes that night, didn't we? Because
Well, I had deep fried banana
oh yeah,
with
with
ketchup,
Yep.
which I
yep.
just kind of ploughed through. It was all right. And then you two had the dragon sweet.
The dragon sweets, they were really good fun. So basically, there are these.
I'll insert a video if I can.
Okay, there are these dragon sweets where basically they're like little round cubes of nothing really, and they're made in liquid nitrogen, and you stick them in your mouth, and then obviously you can just blow all the
Vape.
vapor out because it's mixing with the the warmthness of your mouth, and then you can just blow it out, and then you look like a dragon.
But
basically,
I don't know how people do it so calmly because it's the coldest thing I've ever tried.
I
in
honestly
my
didn't
life.
think it was that bad.
It got stuck to my.
Just
funny.
before
Stuck
that
in
though,
my
I
mouth.
had some of them hot potatoes that we also found, and then I
Yes.
had this cold sweet or whatever it is, and it was horrible. My tongue was stinging for days.
Yeah.
Just recovered now.
I was the same. Yeah,
It was
I did the same.
yeah.
It was
It
good
was
fun.
fun. It was fun. And me and Ed also had these mutton
I think it was
kebab
mutton.
things. Yeah,
They were good.
They were okay. Yeah,
They're
they
very
were
spicy, but it's good. And we also had these pastries, which were filled with slowly marinated beef, and it was very juicy and delicious. And
Yeah, they
that was
were
probably
good.
the best thing I had all night. That
So,
was great.
One of the
Bings
teachers
are
at our
nice.
school have said that that's the trademark of this city was these beef bings or whatever they are. But I actually
Bing.
prefer them in Zhengzhou.
Yeah, the ones we get in,
The
in
peppers
here are
added
nicer.
something, didn't they?
Yeah,
The
there's this.
peppers.
If we can, we'll try to go to this place where Becky made us go. It's really nice.
It was just really cool for me to see the Muslim community of China, because I think the Han Chinese ethnic group of China, you done? Is,
Sorry, excuse me.
I think it's 80 to 90, maybe more than 90% of the Chinese population. But there are quite a lot of other ethnic groups, but that are very minuscule in population. And obviously, I mean, we'll talk about this in a different podcast, but the Muslim community of China is quite
Repressed.
discriminated against, so it was really nice to see, and quite interesting just to see them all in their community cooking their food. And
We
yeah.
did try to go to the mosque, didn't we? But it was closed. And then we got completely lost, and the market went on for
it was huge.
so many streets.
Yeah.
It was so long.
We went down that side street, expecting it to finish there,
Yeah.
and then just opened up to another
A whole other
5 streets,
Yeah.
full of it. It was just a maze.
It was great. It was great to see. Got a lot of fake. Well, I personally got some fake bags and things.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you got your kanken.
I got a pair of sunglasses which I've been desperately wanting for a while now, because since we're going on holiday soon, and I've lost both my pairs that I brought with me, so
Yeah.
I'm good like that.
So yeah, that was the Monday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
And then on the Tuesday, we pretty much had the day till about 3, until we had to go back to the train station. So we just decided to explore Xi'an a little bit more. Went to the
Great Wall of Xi'an.
Great Wall of Xi'an, I think that's what it's called. Oh, it's Xi'an
Fortifications.
Great Wall.
It's
Yeah.
the fortification. It's like
Yeah.
the defence from
Fortification, not
fortification. Oh my god.
Did you say fornification?
Yes, I
And I'm like-
did.
and I was just like, yep.
Oh
yep.
wow, yeah, you agree with that. So 500 years ago, the city made this wall around it, and it's massive. I think it is something like
It's 14.5 kilometres squared, I think.
squared.
precise.
Yes, yeah. So
We
it was
couldn't get
massive,
off it.
and so there's only 4 points to get on and off it, and we could have hired a tandem bike as well, but we had all these bags with us, so it was just a real pain. So we walked it.
Just to clarify, we walked on the top of it, like the top of the wall.
Well, of course, yeah.
Well, explain that.
And we walked. It wouldn't be big if we just walked around like on the outside.
People might think that. You've got to
Well,
be clear,
yes.
you've got to
Anyway,
be-
so we was walking
clear.
for what, an hour and a half, and we did a quarter of it.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
A
It was-
quarter
It was
of it.
nuts. It was huge.
So
And we couldn't get off it. The only reason why we did that long was because we couldn't get down.
yeah. And
'Cause
but
all
we
the
saw
other-
we saw a real nice view of the authentic inside of the city, and then on the right hand side was the newly built. Well, I say newly built, but
Newly renovated.
the outside flats.
We saw a monk as well, just minding his
Yeah,
own
we saw
business.
in the inside. We saw the monastery. It was cool.
Yeah,
It was like
It
a
was
gold-plated roof as well. It was really lovely.
Yeah.
It was good
Yeah.
stuff.
and then we just had some lunch and then went home, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
End of
lunch-
story.
Yeah. Well, lunch was a slight nightmare because like it was.
Everything closed.
It's like
2 o'clock.
Spain. Everything. It was like Spain. Everything was like shutting down, or
It
the
was
chefs were going
1:55.
home, and like they're having their siesta, obviously. So
That just
I
doesn't
wonder if-
happen in Zhengzhou.
I think it does in some places.
Do you
Like
think?
TGP doesn't open
Open
until
till
5, and I think they may open at lunch. But a lot of these fast food places that use Waimai, like the
Deliveroo.
Just the Deliveroo of China. I think they're open majority of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we should talk now about our upcoming trips, which we're really looking forward to, especially with all this cold weather and stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to be 30 degrees in
Can't wait.
Vietnam.
I cannot wait.
Yeah, that's our first stop.
Yeah, that's our
Wait,
first.
shall I have a look at the temperatures of all 3 places?
Yeah,
Well,
please
I
do.
think they're almost identical to each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah,
I
they're
think when I
all
last
within the
looked-
same level.
Yeah.
They're
So
all
we
relatively
all-
close to the same.
We all
think
have
we're
a
all-
month off now for Spring Festival, which is, I think, after summer holidays is like the longest holidays they get given.
Yeah.
And
I think their summer holiday and New Year holiday is exactly the same length.
Yeah, it's a month, but this is
Yeah,
like the
maybe.
longest in term kind of in the school year
Yeah.
holiday, and it's massive. Obviously,
So first of all, we're going
look at that, they're all
to
the same.
wow. So we're going to
33. Oh my god.
so
Nice.
all the places we're going to are currently 33 degrees Celsius.
What is it here?
It's like
2.
9. Oh, it's 2.
It's not
It's
gonna be
2
9
degrees.
if
snowing,
it's
is it?
snowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't register. 2. It's 2 degrees currently in
God,
Zhengzhou.
wow.
Yeah.
When we first came to Zhengzhou, it was 35 at one point. But
It's
the
horrible.
summers and the winters here are so drastic. It's
There's no in between either. Like literally, I remember Eddie saying like autumn and spring are very short lasting seasons, and
Yeah.
autumn lasted for I think maybe less than a month.
Yeah.
It was
like
very
Game
quick.
of Thrones.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's the
so
second
we've got a
reference.
month off, and so we went to Xi'an this weekend. Now we've got a few days just to chill, get packed, and then we're off. We're off to Vietnam is our first stop.
Ho Chi Minh City, the
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
capital. Can't wait.
Yeah.
H-Men for,
AKA Saigon.
Saigon, South Vietnam capital.
and then off to Cambodia,
Yeah,
and then finishing in Thailand.
yeah. It's
We're off
gonna
to
be
3
good.
capitals as well. I just
Yeah.
registered.
Mm,
No,
Hanoi,
we're not.
Hanoi.
Hanoi. Phnom
Hanoi is-
Penh is the capital.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Bangkok.
But we're going to be going from a 10 million city to about 300,000, and then back to a 10 million. So it's going to be
Is that
drastic.
Bangkok?
Yeah, I think that's maybe not 10, but it's going to be drastic changes. I think Cambodia is going to be like a
Yeah.
bit of a chill
I
time
think we're gonna have
before
3 very
the
different
craziness
Bangkok.
of Vietnam.
Bangkok is going to be.
Thailand.
Bangkok's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to every single place.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
going
Look
to
at it,
offer different. Everything's going to be different. It's going to be like.
I've
they're
heard
so close
so
to
many
each
great
other
things
and-
about Cambodia as well, so I'm really looking forward
Yeah.
to
I'm looking
exploring.
forward to Vietnam because I find the whole
Vietnam's
war
huge.
I find it very interesting.
Yeah. The
How
Ho
are,
Chi Minh
we,
City.
how are we gonna?
We're only going to be able to stick around the limits of that city, but if we were to go up Vietnam, which it
Would
takes
take
a really,
days.
really, really long time, we'd see so much beautiful sights, but we just can't do it. We just can't fit it all
Yeah.
in. It's sad, but
We're doing as much as we can, to be honest, by going to 3 countries in 2 weeks. And we debated doing this for ages, didn't we? Because
Yeah.
we all wanted to go to different places the most. We all wanted to go to similar places, but everyone had a preference. And then Amy was just like, why don't we just do it? Why don't we just go to all the places? And for a while I was like, that's not doable, but we're trying. So
To be honest, I think bit by bit, whilst we've been here, we've taken such like little steps. Like Kaifeng, we did a taxi. Then Luoyang was first train, and it was actually quite easy to manage. And then Beijing was like our first overnight Airbnb. Like I personally had never done an Airbnb before, and it's just so easy.
yeah.
And Xi'an was great as well. Just train stations are a bit crazy in China because they're absolutely huge. They're practically airports.
and they don't like to make sense either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think the next 3 weeks, I think they'll be busy, but I think it'll be easy.
Yeah.
Like I've already been speaking to the people we're renting the Airbnbs from, and you know they all seem really really nice people, and I just think it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be easy, and these countries are a lot more used to tourists than China, so I think it'll be easier in that sense.
Less staring, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
That'll be so
There'll be-
nice to see
there'll
other
be-
white
there'll be
people.
lots of-
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll probably see more white people than we've seen in the last 6 months. We'll be shocked.
I know.
Oh my god.
Well, what
It'll
are
be
you
us
doing here?
staring.
Yeah.
It'll be-
Yeah, we'll
And-
be like,
Huh?
oh my god,
There's
she's
a-
blonde.
There's a Tesco in Thailand, which I'm very excited for.
So am I.
Yeah.
If there's a Tesco, I want to get a meal
I don't
deal.
think it's going to be.
I don't
it's
think
gonna
it'll be
real.
the Tesco that you want it to
What
be.
will the meal deals be?
I think
That's
it's
what
going to
I'm
be a
interested.
shack.
It'll be
with,
like scorpions with a can of Coke
100 baht
and a,
meal
and,
deal.
and a packet of seaweed.
Yeah.
That'd be
I'd
sick,
take
to be fair.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
take that over this. Yeah.
I think I'll skip the scorpion.
Tom wants to try scorpion, don't you?
I've said I wanted to try it, but I always think to myself, I always G myself up. I'm gonna try something different, and then I see a squid on a stick.
You want squid?
No.
I think
I-
scorpion looks better than squid,
I
though.
do. I think
Yeah.
having a little nibble on a scorpion will be alright.
Yeah,
and then you
on
can
a-
be like, look, I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
Even
yeah.
if it's gross,
I'll
and
have,
you never
I'll
know,
have
it
a
could be
drink
good.
or something tasty next to me to down straight after.
What if there isn't anything?
I'll make sure there is.
Mm. But we will discuss all of that, all we get up to on our holiday when we get back.
Yeah, so
Mega
there-
3-hour podcast.
Yeah.
And also, I just want to plug my own little channel here. I am planning on doing a mega vlog. So expect something on my channel as well.
You've
if you
been
have.
planning to do a vlog since you've been here.
And I did one.
Have you
did
posted it?
One in 6
No, I
months.
posted-
Oh.
Haven't you watched it?
Yeah, of course I watched it.
Doesn't sound like you have.
No, I
Anyway.
remember you showing it to us, but I don't know if you.
Yeah, I posted it.
remember
So
seeing it.
planning on doing a vlog as well for my channel, which
Yeah,
will
that'd be good.
Yeah, it'll be nice to look back on that. So yeah,
You're going to have to edit though, Ed.
I know.
That's what you said. It's going to be a pain.
It will be an absolute pain, but I'll make sure I.
Why don't you just envision the edits you're gonna take and then just press like press the stopper?
Yeah, I'll try and be as efficient as possible with
Yeah.
my camera usage.
It'll be worth it to look back on.
Of course.
Like this as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all doing it, okay.
We're all doing it?
What?
I don't
Why
know
did
what
you
are we
look
doing.
at me?
I don't know.
No, I'll
Worst
just
outro ever.
just if you're more interested, look about the Terracotta army and the whole history around that. It's very interesting
Yes.
stuff. The whole first emperor. It's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Be
right.
sure to be sure to check out the website. That'll be linked down below.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video. Hit the notification bell as you do, as always. And we'll see you in the next episode. Not that button, Amy.
That one.
Yeah.
Bye.